Yeah. And I love the story that you told about Tom Petty coming by and hanging out. What do you remember about that?
Rick was having dinner with him that night, and Darren and I were working at Miller Drive at the studio in the basement. And Rick brought him down just to say hi, which was really sweet. And Darren had rolled a joint, and he was pretty cheeky by offering. He was like, "Hey, you want to smoke one?" And he was like, "Oh, don't mind if I do." And he came down, smoked a joint with us, and listened to a song, and gave his input and liked what we were doing, which was very encouraging, very sweet. You know,
Yeah.
those are the things that would happen if you recorded at Rick's place, right? It's pretty amazing. I got to meet a lot of people there as well. I mean, that's how I met Tony Canal, was a friend of mine from No Doubt, and Gwen, and and just so many people would just drop in, and and he'd invite us to dinners with different artists and
Yeah.
whatnot, which was amazing. It's like kismet, like, him walking into our life as artists, as a band, really changed. And I'm ever so grateful to him. Like, we'd be doing
Yeah.
whatever, and at the end I'd go, "I'm never gonna forget what you've done for us." Like, I
Yeah.
I always feel that way. I always feel grateful for him entering our lives, and changing it to what we have now. He came to our show in Las Vegas for Sick New World, which is a festival we've been doing for 2 years with Live Nation. And he was just rocking out, and it was so nice to have him there. It was just felt like, it's been 30 years. It's like,
Yeah.
just him being there and going, "Wow, man, like, we've come so far. And it's been a rocky road in a lot of places. It hasn't been cement.
Yeah.
But those rocks actually I don't know, in a way, made our feet stronger and able to walk better in a way. Like, you see all this stuff looking back.
What do you think it is that he is able to do when he's listening, when he's laying down and listening to music with his eyes closed? What is it that he's able to hear as someone who's worked with him for so long? And what's the feedback that he gives?
I think he has an incredible intuitive understanding of the music and art that's being displayed. And I think if he loves something, he almost sees it from a fan perspective, which is a very deep perspective. So he's not thinking, at least in the beginning, in terms of capturing performance, he's not thinking this could be louder. There are producers that really get into the nitty gritty of mixing, and this could be this way, maybe bring the chorus this way. For him, he just goes, "Wow, that part of the song is the strongest. I want to hear more of that." It's such a simple thing to say, but
Mhm.
it is incredibly powerful and minimal. And if you actually go with it, 99% of the cases, it'll make the song way better. There are times where maybe it might not. And he usually is the
Yeah.
first to say, "That didn't work. Glad we tried it." So his approach is not cerebral, it's incredibly intuitive, which is what music itself is, you know?
Yeah.
And so as a producer, bringing that, and he's got this incredible way of making artists feel comfortable in their own skin. And if an artist feels comfortable, they are going to produce better. So it's the combination of those two things, I think, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Do you remember when you first started working with him, when you were recording the first album, any of his feedback overall for your sound or for any direction maybe he wanted to see you to like go in more of a certain direction?
When I produce my own records now, I hear him in my head going, "Pronounce it better, Serge, pronounce it better." Literally. He wanted to understand every word. If you're trying to throw away a word on purpose, that's one thing. But he was really into hearing every aspect of it. Like, he would spend a lot of times with our takes, like our general takes that we do as a full band, so that we know which is the best drum pick. And then we do basically, record over with guitars and bass and keys and what strings, whatever we're adding, and vocals. He'd spend a lot of times with me with vocals. I think he gives it a lot of credence. And so he's still in my head going, "Pronounce that better,
Yeah.
pronounce that better," because it's important. Words are important.